In this warm-up, we are converting between different types of units. So there's 24 hours in one day. So in number 5, we would write the number 24. Go ahead and complete 1 through 6. Pause if you need to, and then move on. Here we are trying to figure out how many eggs per dozen. And you can see in that picture we have 6 in each row, so there are 12 eggs per dozen. There are 100 pennies in a dollar. 4 quarts, that word quar, like in quarter or in a quad. There are 4 per gallon. There are 1,000 meters in a kilometer. And I believe you also have some extra room where you can write other conversions that you know. Like maybe you know there are 12 inches per foot, or you know that there are 100 centimeters per meter, and you're going to list all of the other ones that you know. The value of $1,000 is equal to the value of blank pennies. We just found out that there are 100 pennies in $1. So if we want $1,000, we are multiplying by 1,000. 100 times 1,000, that's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. That is 100,000 pennies. Select 3 rates from the table of unit conversions and state the unit rate for each. On page 265 in your workbook, there is a table of conversions. So we're going to pick 3 rates from that table. I'm going to choose 1 length conversion, 1 weight, and 1 capacity. So we know that there are 1,760 yards per mile. And then we're going to state the unit rate. So the unit rate is 1,760. The weight, we know that there are 16 ounces per pound. So the unit rate is 16. And we also know that there are 2 cups per pint. So the unit rate for this one would be 2. You do not have to choose the same 3 that I did, but you do need to pick 3 from that table and state the unit rate. Again, this is on page 265 in your workbook. Miss Baker wants to put a border around her class bulletin board. She measured the bulletin board in inches and finds that it measures 60 inches by 72 inches. What is the perimeter of Miss Baker's bulletin board in inches? Remember, for the perimeter, we need to add up all the sides. So we have 72 plus 60 plus 72 plus 60. And that will give us the perimeter. Well, 72 plus 60, that would be 132. So 264. And that is measured in inches. 264 inches. Miss Baker arrives at the teacher supply store only to find that the border for sale is measured in centimeters. How many centimeters of border does Miss Baker need so she has enough to put around her bulletin board? Create a ratio table or another representation to support your answer. Well, we've got inches and centimeters. Looking at page 265, it tells me that 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. And we just said that Miss Baker needs 264 inches. So I need to multiply. 1 times 264 would give me the inches. So to figure out how many centimeters I need, I'm going to multiply by 264 on that section of the table as well. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 1 is 25. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 more makes 10. Put in that place value spacer. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 2 more. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. We need 2 place value spacers. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. Then we're adding them up. 8 plus 2 plus 0 is 10. 2 plus 3 is 5. 6, 7. And 5 plus 1 is 6. Now with decimal multiplication, we count there's 1, 2 decimal places in the question, so we need 2 in our answer. This is 670.56 centimeters. Miss Baker also needs to buy sand for a science project. The project requires at least 5 pounds of sand. The store sells 40-ounce bags of sand. Is one 40-ounce bag of sand enough for the project? If not, how many 40-ounce bags of sand does Miss Baker need? Create a ratio table or another representation to support your answer. In our book on page 265, it says that 1 pound is 16 ounces. And Miss Baker needs at least 5 pounds. So we need to multiply by 5. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 more is 80. So first question says, is one 40-ounce bag of sand enough for the project? No. one bag is not enough? If not, how many 40-ounce bags of sand does Miss Baker need? So how many 40s does it take to make 80? She needs 2 of the 40-ounce bags. And we created a ratio table to support our answer. A typical cruising speed for an airplane is 900 kilometers per hour. 1 kilometer is about 0.62 miles. About how many miles per hour is the typical cruising speed for an airplane? Create a double number line or another representation to support your answer. So if a double number line is not your preferred method, you could use a table, or you can set up a ratio, but we need some representation. I am going to do the double number line just so you can be exposed to it. So this is going to use 2 lines. And remember, they both start at 0. We have kilometers and we have miles. It told us that 1 kilometer is about 0.62 miles. But our goal is to get to 900 kilometers. So I'm going to put that way over here. We're skipping a bunch of numbers in the middle. But to get from 1 to 900, what would I do? 1 times 900 is 900. So if I wanted to figure out how many miles they're going in that hour, I would need to multiply by 900 here also. So we've got 900 times 0.62. 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 9 is 18. We put a place value spacer. 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 9 is 54. Then we are adding these up. We don't necessarily need this one because it's just going to be a whole row of zeros. 0, 0, 8, 5, 5. Like I told you earlier, we count 1, 2 places in the question. So 1, 2 decimal places in the answer. That's just 558 miles. And we also need it's talking about kilometers per hour, so this is miles in that same hour. So the typical cruising speed for an airplane is 558 miles per hour. That is very fast. Here in question 4, it says water flows from a garden hose at a rate of 91.2 liters per minute. A pool holds 8,640 gallons of water. How many minutes will it take to fill the pool with the garden hose? Create a ratio table or another representation to support your answer. Use that 1 gallon is approximately 3.8 liters. So we're going to start there. We've got gallons and liters. Our goal is to get to 8,640 gallons to fill the pool. To do that, we multiplied by 8,640 here. So we have to do the same over here. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 6 is 48. Plus 3 more makes 51. 8 times 8 is 64. Plus 5 is 69. Put a place value spacer. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 6 is 18. Plus 1 more is 19. 3 times 8 is 24. Plus 1 more is 25. Add those up. I had 1 decimal spot in my question, so I need 1 decimal spot in my answer. That means this is 32,000 liters, 832. But that tells me how many liters the pool holds. The question says, how many minutes will it take? If we can do liters and minutes, we know it fills up at 91.2 liters in 1 minute. And we need to fill it up 32,832 liters. And we're trying to figure out how many minutes. Now, I don't know what you would multiply by here, but I can work backwards by figuring out, well, if I divide this way, 91.2 divided by 91.2 gives me 1. So if I divide by 91.2 here, that should tell me how many minutes. And that's going to come out to 360. So it takes 360 minutes to fill the pool with a garden hose. How many hours will it take to fill the pool? If it takes 360 minutes and there are 60 minutes in an hour, we are going to divide. We can write that as a fraction. I notice they both are multiples of 10, so I could turn this into 36 and 6. And I know that 6 fits into 36 6 times. So this is 6 hours to fill the pool. A restaurant cooks 10 pounds of roast beef to serve in sandwiches. Each sandwich has 100 grams of roast beef. Each pound is about 450 grams. How many sandwiches can a restaurant prepare with 10 pounds of roast beef? I'm going to try a double number line in this one, just because we've been using a ratio table in the past few. So I have pounds and grams. They both have to start at 0. And it tells me that each pound, so 1 pound, is 450 grams. And I need 10 pounds. So we are going to multiply by 10. and multiply by 10. Multiplying by 10 is pretty simple because you just add an extra 0 to the end, or put an extra 0 at the end. So this is 4,500 grams. So how many sandwiches can the restaurant prepare with 10 pounds of roast beef? Well, this is 4,500 grams, but each sandwich has 100 grams. So we're going to make a little table over here. It says the sandwiches and the grams. Each sandwich uses 100 grams, and I have 4,500 grams. So this right here is multiplied by 45. So over here I would multiply by 45. And that would give me 45 sandwiches. Another way you could think about this is, well, it's 100 divided by 100 gives you 1. So 45 or 4,500 divided by 100 would give you 45 as well. So the restaurant can prepare 45 sandwiches. This was a longer one. Make sure you have page 265 kind of tabbed in your book because we may be using that again. And your workbook should be filled in and your warm-ups should be completed.